Chapter 11. Celebrate. Marinette woke up on Christmas morning to find Adrian already in the bakery kitchen with her father, rolling out gingerbread dough that had been pre-made the day before and refrigerated. He was dressed in a green jumper under his Christmas apron and was wearing the Santa hat she had made for him. "Merry Christmas, Princess! I was about to come and wake you," Adrian said cheerily, looking far too fresh for the late night they had. Marinette rubbed her eyes and came over to give him a chaste morning kiss. Her hair was a mess, and she was still in her pajamas, but Adrian thought she looked absolutely adorable. "What have you been up to?" she asked, looking at all the gingerbread dough. "Your dad's been showing me how to make gingerbread," Adrian said, kneading the dough on the countertop. "That's usually my job," Marinette quipped. "That's what you get for sleeping in, sweetheart," Tom teased her. "You might find yourself replaced." "I guess we just stayed up a little too long talking after we came home." She blushed slightly, remembering how she accidentally told him about her dreams of them being together with 3 kids and a hamster. Rather than being put off by it though, Adrian just leaned in and kissed her, which in turn turned into a lot of kissing. Not that her parents needed to know about that. "There she is," Sabine said as she joined everyone else in the kitchen. "Why don't you go and get changed, and then you can make your boyfriend some breakfast, since he's been working so hard." Marinette looked over to Adrian, who gave her a proud smile and a wink. She still had to pinch herself that Adrian was really her boyfriend, that she was dating Chat Noir. No wonder the sneaky cat was looking so pleased with himself. Not that she could blame him. Grabbing some food for the Kwamis on her way, Marinette changed into a red turtleneck jumper with long black pants and a festive holly clip in her hair. She also found on her phone a text from Alia with a link to a news article. True to her word, Felicia kept her promise and waited until morning to post the exclusive news story of Adrian and Marinette's romance. The photos from the markets truly captured how happy they are, and she was touched to see so many Parisians had commented messages of support for them. Returning back downstairs, Marinette watched as her father guided Adrian in rolling out the gingerbread to just the right thickness. You need to make them just right. Too thick and they will be too chewy, but too thin and biscuits will be dry and it will break too easily when it's baked. Adrian nodded his head, and Marinette smiled to herself as he poked out his tongue as he concentrated, getting the dough to the right thickness. Tom checked his work and patted him on the back. "That's how it's done, son." Tom passed Adrian a cookie cutter, and Adrian started carefully cutting out the shapes and placing them on a baking tray. He saw Marinette watching him and gave her a smile, losing concentration, and one of the legs on a gingerbread man with it. "Oops," Tom said. "I guess he was feeling a bit crummy." Marinette came into the kitchen and rolled her eyes as Adrian chuckled. After they shared a Christmas breakfast and iced the gingerbreads ready for later, Adrian and Marinette raced ahead of Tom and Sabine to the Christmas tree, claiming their spots together on the couch. Adrian gave his gifts to Tom and Sabine first, that he had bought at the markets. For Sabine, he had bought a decorative festive tin with loose-leaf Chinese tea, and for Tom, he had bought handmade embossed wooden rolling pins. Marinette's present he wanted to keep for last. Marinette's parents gave her a new smartwatch, hopefully to keep her from running late all the time, and a set of beautiful new threads and bobbins. As always, Marinette handmade her gifts, a winter shawl for her mother, and some warm wool socks for her father to wear on those early winter mornings in the bakery. Taking out her last gift, she handed the parcel to Adrian. He could tell from the packaging it was something soft, and he looked at her inquisitively. "Did you make me something?" "Just open it, silly," she said, giving him a light shove. Adrian pulled off the ribbon and opened the paper to find a set of gloves and a beanie, in the same soft blue as the scarf she gave him years ago. "But how?" he asked. "I know you said the other day you would make me a matching set, but when would you have had the time?" Marinette placed her hand on his. "I actually made them when I made the scarf," she said. "The plan was to give you the scarf for your birthday and the rest for Christmas that year. When the mix-up happened, I decided just to keep them since it would have looked odd, and, well, you know why I didn't tell you." She then gave him a soft smile. I'm happy I can finally give them to you now. And you know they will be my favorites, he said, giving her a kiss on the cheek before taking his hair out of its tie and trying on the beanie. How do I look? Wonderful, Marinette beamed. You know, that reminds me of a great joke, Tom said. What did the beanie say to the scarf? I don't know, Adrian replied. Go on ahead. I'll just hang around here. Oh, Tom, you say that joke every winter, Sabine chuckled. A classic never gets old, Tom declared. Well, that just leaves one more gift, Sabine said, pointing to the very small gift bag under the tree. Adrian reached over to the bag before handing it to Marinette. Excitedly, Marinette opened the bag to find a small jewelry box inside, the same size as a ring box. She looked up at Adrian with wide eyes. He chuckled nervously and rubbed the back of his neck. Don't panic, princess. It's not that kind of ring. Not yet, anyway. Marinette looked over to her parents, who both had matching grins as they stood up. You know what it is, don't you? Adrian showed us this morning, Tom said approvingly. Just open it, honey. Don't mind us, Sabine added. We can make a start on stuffing the turkey. Tom went to open his mouth when Sabine closed her eyes and held up a finger. Tom, don't you dare turn that into a pun. I don't know what you're talking about, dear, the baker said, feigning innocence as they left the room. Marinette looked back at Adrian, who gave her an encouraging nod. Carefully, she opened the box, and almost immediately, tears pricked at her eyes as her hand came to her mouth. Inside was a beautiful sterling silver ring with a heart in the center, made up of 3 small diamonds. Marinette couldn't find any words as Adrian took the ring and slid it onto her ring finger. This is a promise ring, he told her, kissing her hand where he had put the ring. I wanted to give this to you today with the blessing of your parents, as my commitment to you and as a celebration of us. I can't promise that things will be simple or easy, and I can't promise that there won't be hard times along the way. But what I can promise is that you will always have my love, and that I will always be here for you. One day I will replace this ring with another, and we will have that future that we talked about last night. Marinette was feeling completely overwhelmed, but also felt like the luckiest girl in the world. She wrapped her arms around him and buried her tears into the crook of his neck. I hope those are happy tears? He asked, a little unsure about her reaction. The happiest tears, she mumbled into his hair. Adrian stroked his fingers through Marinette's hair until she eventually composed herself, sitting back enough to rest her forehead against his. You know, if you had asked me, I would have said yes, she whispered to him. I know, he said, tucking a stray hair behind her ear. He cradled her face in his hand and wiped a stray tear away with his thumb. But I don't want us to look like some celebrity whirlwind romance that everyone thinks is going to crash and burn. The rest of the world doesn't know what we've been through together. He then gently placed a lingering kiss on her forehead. But I promise you, that day will come. He looked into her bluebell eyes before she closed them and the gap between them to give her own promise in return in the form of a deep, meaningful kiss. Ugh, this is way too cheesy for me, Plaid grumbled from Adrian's pocket. It was beautiful, Kiki countered, giving her counterpart a frown. The rest of the day was spent in festive celebrations. Marinette's grandparents Roland and Gina joined them for lunch. Tom read out Christmas jokes and Gina told stories of her adventures. They all admired the ring that he had given Marinette. Although Roland had said that promise rings weren't a thing in his day, he admired the young man's commitment. Later, Tom and Sabine offered Adrian an apprenticeship with them at the bakery. He had shown a lot of promise in his skills over the last few days and it would give him a career away from the celebrity life. It was their gift to him for Christmas, and Adrian couldn't thank them enough. Adrian had never felt so much love and acceptance. A few weeks ago, he had thought he had lost everything. But now he had found what he had always wanted most. A family. And that was something worth celebrating. End of chapter.